artist, crafter, creator, and I want to tell you how I do it, how I travel and do things while I'm traveling, because a lot of people think that while I'm traveling, I'm just la-la-laing and doing the tourist thing, but I'm not. So I've been combining travel with work for as long as I've been working. When I started out, I was a young mom, and I would make jewelry and travel to art and craft shows to sell the things. So I would purposely plan my trip around, well, a couple things: where the best shows were happening, where the best art and craft shows were happening. And I like to look for a 1 day show on a Saturday. I preferred it to be inside, because inside shows you could typically set up for the night before and then just turn up in the morning, do your thing, sell your stuff, and go home. Pack up and go home. But if we were over 2 hours out from where we lived, I would always get a room. So that was traveling and working. And I managed to stay a stay-at-home single mom most of my adult life while raising my kids, with and supporting myself just with my arts and crafts. It can be done. And I have nothing against people that do get welfare. I did not get welfare. I thought that I could do it by myself, and I did. And I had a really good support system. I had my parents, who I lived with a couple of years, but most of the time I was able to manage and have my own home for my children and myself, and still do my arts and crafts. So now, as I fast forward to here, I am 61. We own the church that we live in. We own our cars. We have no monthly bills. Morton's retired early, and his retirement is really small. So we couldn't live just on that retirement. And I do have, I'm going to start collecting Social Security next year at 62, actually. I think 62 and a half I can. But it's not going to be enough to support us. So I'm going to continue to do my writing, my arts and crafts, as long as I can. And hello, Pam. As long as I can, as long as I enjoy it. The day I don't enjoy something is the day I don't do it anymore, if I can help it. Life is too short to do things you don't enjoy. Take it from me. I know this. Every single second is so precious. So this is how I do it. I want to show you. I'm going to turn you around. I'm going to give you a little tour. Now, I'm spoiled here because in Florida, my granddaughter has this lovely, lovely art space studio that she has. And this area here is getting reworked. I think she's getting a stand-up art desk there. But this table, picture this as a table. This is just, how long is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5-foot table. I have my iPad. I do all my graphic stuff on here. Like this picture is painted. I did this in Procreate for the Summer Sundrops book. But normally in my art box, I would have my supplies. And I like to travel with a box like this, where I can keep everything contained in it. Nice and easy. I like to keep things super simple. This packs well. But this time, what I have in here, oh, I forgot I brought this. I brought my TikTok swag. Set that up there. This time, and I got to put these, right now I'm putting these in an envelope this morning to Vanessa. I did not do it in Pennsylvania. We were spur of the moment leaving. So these today, I'm going to actually photograph them. I like to photograph them. They're going in my Shopify store that I'm setting up. I have never done this before. But normally I would keep my art and craft supplies in there, have a place to work. And I like to use a box like this because it's a little higher. So the one thing I did forget to bring, I forgot to bring my mailers for this stuff. So I'll just need to order some more off of Amazon. So things that I'm going to do while I'm down here in Florida, I'm going to mail these out to Vanessa this morning. And then I'm going to, oh, I have my laptop as well. And I have an old fashioned, these like a briefcase or my laptop. I keep my cables in there. So typically this is my traveling art studio. This for my digital stuff, my iPad, my laptop, my tripod, which I remembered, which I have you on right now. I can put my cords, my cables in there. I usually always pack an extension cord because if you're working in a hotel room or a campground or wherever you set up your portable studio, chances are you're going to not have a plug right under the table. This time I do. But so I keep an extension cord in here too. It comes in super handy. And if you're traveling to another country, I get a converter as long as you're not doing anything like a hair dryer. Hair dryers won't work on this, but like your computer will because it has the. This is a power inverter that allows you to use this in different countries. But we're just in Florida right now, so we don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna set my computer up here, plug it in down below, and I am working on making a book, a hardcover book, with all my books in it. About the seasons, the 4 books about the seasons, and I'm going to be writing 4 different stories that kind of tell you the introduction story, or maybe the intro and the outro story of what happened next. I'm not sure. I'm going to be working on that while I'm in Florida. So this is my box of to do while I'm away, and I'm not gonna, even though I am gonna swim out every single day while I'm here, I'm going to be getting this art. That art's going to be going on my Shopify, which is brand new, which is not even launched yet, which I'm creating on here. So it's going to have everything in it that I already have. My Printify sells things like this, and Amazon I sell things like this on. But my Shopify is going to be things, one-of-a-kind things that I've actually made myself. That's what's going to be in there. So that's going to be job 1. Job 2 is going to be getting these books turned into a hardcover book, a hardback book, and writing the stories for these. And then if I get to it, I have my my book Little Changes, which is the when it's a trip in a lifetime. And I think my end weight on there was like, I don't know, I think it was 240 pounds there, or 440 pounds when I started. And it was quite the journey. But this, I'm getting ready to have our 20th anniversary of when we did this journey. So this book, I'm going through, and this book is written like a diary. See, April 25th, Wednesday. Oh, Caesar's in Atlantic City. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. And there were a lot of things I couldn't talk about then that I can talk about now that happened during the journey. But I want to go through and get all my typos out of here because this is before I had an editor. This sort of thing, I want to read this out loud to Morton, and I might do a lot of that here on YouTube too, and then get Morton's memories. I'd like to put Morton's memories in here too. And then instead of just being by me, it'll be by me and Morton. But that's probably going to be a book for at home, or Morton and I might go somewhere just quietly, the 2 of us, and work on this together. We might do that, where we just spend 4 hours a day working on this book and then enjoying wherever we are. Because I think as a person who creates and writes and does a lot of things, the biggest gift that you can give yourself to be successful in what you're doing, I pulled the cord, is give yourself the time and space. So you need a space to work. So here I'm just on a regular chair. Give yourself plenty of water. Stay hydrated. That's my first drink of the day. I brush my teeth, but that doesn't count. Give yourself time to create and give yourself the space to create in. So even if you're at home, and when I first started doing arts and crafts, I was young. I lived in a was it 2 bedroom? I think it was a 2 bedroom mobile home. I think it was 12 by 60. It was a tiny, tiny space, and I had all kinds of baby stuff because I got married, and 10 months and 15 days later, I had my daughter. So a tiny, tiny home, but I still did I kept a little Rubbermaid tub, and it was about this size. It was more like a shoebox. It was smaller, and I kept all my stuff in there. So even as a young mom, coping with breastfeeding schedules and keeping a house clean and working, and I still worked as well. I cleaned office buildings, actually, which was fun because you could work at night and I could take my little one with me. And I had a lot more energy then. So, and Pam just asked if I have any tips for economical travel. 1,000,000,000%. I didn't know this then. Back when I was traveling, when my kids were young, because I was married young and I was divorced young, and I was a single mom for most of my kids' growing up days. So we traveled economically with like things like tents or a cheap motel room or places like that. But now there are so many bargains to be had on the internet. There's some really good deals I just almost booked a flight right now for somewhere that I've just been too many places this year. I'm not going to do it. I was going to surprise Morton with a little trip while we were down here, and I thought, no, I'm not going to push things because we're here. The grandkids are just starting school. We're going to have maybe at tops, maybe 3 more years with our grandkids living here. They're growing up. They're going to be going to college, and they're going to be out and about. So I'm going to enjoy this time that we're in Florida. But economical travel, there's a website called workaway.something. It's not org and it's not com. And Workaway, there are people of all ages can use this. And it's typically just for solo travel, although we host with Workaway. And we have hosted people that are a couple. It's great for a single traveler. Because when you go there, like we pick people up from the station or the airport, and then we take them back all for free. They pay nothing. We pay them nothing, and they pay us nothing. They stay and they help us for 5 hours a day. So that there are workaway things for things like other things too, like Woof for pet sitting. There are a lot of great places if you want to travel somewhere and you don't. I think the most expensive things in travel is your airfare and your hotels. So if you're flexible, and your food out really, because if you're eating out, it's expensive. But if you're with Workaway or you're house sitting or with Woof, that's free lodging, and that's a lot of times the food is included. So I think if we look at things differently other than just like, let's book a cheap room. There's also some places that do house swap sites. I've never done that. I wouldn't do that with the church. I have too many precious memories in the church. I wouldn't. It's not that I don't trust people, but I don't trust people because I've had things taken off the walls in the church by people that were visiting that I didn't know. Anyway, I would I would recommend just, figuring out if you're flexible on your time, especially, it's great because you can look for, there's a lot of great cheap flight sales out there. Like I just saw, it was round trip tickets for, it would be for Morton and I, and it was going from, I want to say leaving from Philadelphia. I forget what, but it was ridiculously cheap, ridiculously cheap. But the best, and don't overlook a road trip. Like if you have a vehicle, and my dad used to always say you have to eat whether you're here or there. Like we would go to Canada in a heartbeat. We would load up all of our food in our coolers, and we would go to Canada with a tent, and you pay for your gas, and that was it. If you're into camping and camping out, there are tons of places you can go. Morton and I are going camping actually in October. Is it October? I think October. Might be the last weekend of September. I can't remember. Anyway, we're going camping. We're going camping to this, it's like a quartz mine or a crystal mine where you pay this fee, and I forget what we're going to be mining, but we're going to mine something. And we're going to camp. And I have a cot that sits up high that holds up to 500 pounds, so I can, don't have to get down on the floor to get up and down at night. But I'm looking forward to it. Morton and I have a couple of tents, and I love to camp. I love to sleep outside, but it's not for everybody. So there are ways, just, get in what works for you. And when I go camping, I'll take along a box, not probably this box, probably a plastic box, because that way if things spill, whatever, but I knew we were coming down the car, but I'll take along a box like this size that has my watercolors in it. I want to focus. I was really, after I did the chateau, I was really excited about doing stuff in a gallery, charging crazy money for my stuff. I was excited about that. And then I got into it a little bit deeper with actually talking with the gallery that I was excited to show stuff in and do stuff in. But there's so many restrictions, and there's so many things that didn't feel right for me. And at the end of the day, you got to do what feels right for you. What feels right for me might not feel right for you. So you got to do what feels right for you. So until I find a gallery that feels right for me, I'm just going to stick with having an online shop where I can sell one-of-a-kind originals. I don't want to even get into the prints. I love painting and creating. So I don't want to get into something where it feels like a business. I'm 61. I want to paint and I want to sell it at prices people can afford to buy it. And I love doing things like that, but I'm gonna keep doing it. I've been doing it my whole life. I thought I'm not sure how many days we're gonna go camping, Melissa. I'm not sure. I think it's for 4 days, but it'll be fun. Morton and I have, the whole time when we rode the bicycles up the East Coast, we had our tent with us and my laptop with us, and we camped. Oh my gosh, we camped so many places. It was great. As long as you have a tent that doesn't leak, camping is fun. The old-fashioned tents, when I was a kid and would go camping, Pam, thanks. When I was a kid and we would go camping, my dad had this tent. Oh, he had bought this and he would say this so many times, I got this at the Navy surplus auction. Like that made this tent really special. Now, it was a big tent, I will give you that. It was so hard to set up though, and it leaked so bad. We would coat this thing with wax. What happens though is, and this is old school days, this is of 50 and more years ago. But when you would coat with this wax coating to stop the tent from leaking, when it would get hot, and it gets hot sitting in the sun, then it just melt and just run down. So then up there where the leak was would have nothing in it. So when it would rain, and it would always rain, you would have you'd have rain in your tent. But I can still smell that tent. It was canvas, and it smelled just like you can imagine a canvas tent that had been used for how many years, I don't know. It smelled, and it had a gigantic backpack. When I was younger, I couldn't lift the thing myself. So now we have like our tent basically takes up like this much space. It's little, and it goes up like zippity. And I was just like, woo, it's up. But yeah, so camping is definitely different. But I'll show you when we go camping. I'll set up a trail. I'll set up my trail studio there and do lots of painting outside. So, oh, Melissa, thankfully the tent memories, even though like when you'd wake up when you were a kid and you'd wake up and your sleeping bag would be soaked and cold, and you hear the rain and you see the rain, you just roll over and find a place to just get a little bit of comfort. And I never lost any sleep over. We'd wake up soaking wet, string up lines. If it was still raining, we'd put a tarp up and string up lines and put our sleeping bags on there. But I have already been on fishing trips in Canada as a kid where I would have to get back, I'd lay on top of a damp sleeping bag at night. And you know what? I'm here. It was fun. And we had a lot of time. You're talking about the camping things, and looky, this is a little thing that I did this for my granddaughter when I was down. Just little critters on it. And I think I might do some fun, like I love painting animals that are camping. So maybe animals, maybe hedgehogs setting up a tent. I don't know. I'll do lots of fun stuff, I'm sure. It's hard to tell too what inspires you and what pops into your head when and where, but I hear Morton up now. I have been up since 6 a.m. and I have already been chatting with my friend Brooke in London, and the play is this last week is in London, and then they're coming home, and I'm excited because there's exciting adventures coming up from that too. But yeah, it's gonna be a great day, and I want to get started on it. My goal today, first things first, is I'm putting these in the envelope to Vanessa. I wanted to mail them off from Pennsylvania, but I had put the wax on them. I forgot to put the wax on that night, and you gotta wait 24 hours till you polish them. So, and then I'm going to photograph. I think I'll get that done this morning, and I'll photograph all of my art, all of my original watercolors that I have, the ones from France, and these ones that have the Chateau Orqueville stamp on the back. And oh, I just made a TikTok. Somebody sent me this thing about a retreat in France for sale. It's less than $1 million. And it has 26 bedrooms. It's super cool. I was actually brainstorming with a friend of mine about how cool it would be to open and run something like that. It's been a yoga retreat, but it could be an anything retreat. But I feel now like I'm 61, and I feel like the best is yet to come, but I also am realistic about my energy and what I can and can't do physically and the time to do things. So if I did something like that, I think I would do it like a co-op rather than something just on my own, where you can have like, you need the energy of youth. Even though I have the spirit of youth, I have to work on getting the energy of youth back. I currently don't have it. Maybe after I lose my 200 extra pounds, maybe I'll have it. Maybe I'll be like, let's open a retreat in France. But yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to focus on my home, the church, and doing as much traveling as I can with Morton and working while I travel. And Morton, I want to get Morton. I've been saying this since there have been computers. I want to get Morton feeling comfortable with doing the here's my picture or here's my artwork, take pictures of it and upload it to the website. That's my goal. I'm going to make that happen before the end of the year. He's scared of it, but it's all easy stuff. You don't, like I used to do coding and programming and all that stuff for website creation. You do not have to do that anymore. So I want to get it more like a partnership. So when I'm doing the things, oh, I'm sorry, I can't read whatever language that is that you commented on. But yeah, I'm going to jump off just now. And thanks for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions about setting up a portable studio, what you put in your studio box when you're traveling, mine's typically my laptop bag with the electronics in it and a box with my art supplies in it. That's usually it. So tell me your tips and thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.